What do you do when you have too much of a thing? How do you control a mass amount of abundance? If you won the lottery today against all of the odds in which winning the lottery would be, what would you do with the money? If you had the dream amount of energy that you could ever have in a day, what would you do with that energy? If you woke up with the most perfect morning, like what would you do? Like honestly, what would you do? You know, these are the sort of questions which we're going to be exploring today. This is the topic of today's video. Hello, I am CJ. Thank you for tuning into my channel. I just wanted to give a brief introduction there. Though today's topic truly is just about abundance. What do you do when you have too much? Right now, where I live, let me tell you, I was driving on the roads the other days and I was just hydroplaning across the road. It was like hydroplane and then some road. It's like, sir, there's some asphalt in your lake, which is supposedly supposed to be a highway. Like, sort of just craziness, outside where I'm living in. Because all the snow is melting and the water is just consuming the lands. This is an abundance of water. We are at the peak of, the spring meets the fall, the winter, and then, happy goodness into the summer. And right now, like, the earth is seeing chaos almost, but I wouldn't label it chaos because I don't necessarily say that water is bad. Water is just in abundance. This is an example of just like having too much of a thing sometimes can destroy exactly what you want to keep. You as an individual have to be able to navigate let's say the bank, your reservoir of, let's say latent energy, which is whatever it may be, however may you perceive it. And you must be able to manage that in some well laid out way. So like what I'm drifting towards is like you need to be able to order the water around, if we're taking the analogy of the earth, you must be able to direct the water. In roads, we have ditches. So ditches create pathways for water to follow. And then you have the little tubes that go under the driveway. I don't know their name, like gutters or something. Or I don't know. It's on top of my head, but I can't think of it. Those also allow water to run through, There's a path that this abundance can flow to. This abundance of water. The question is, though, not how good does your driveway drain, but how well do you deal with abundance yourself? That's a valid question to ask. What would you do, like at the beginning of the video? What would you do if you had, all this energy in the day? What would you do if you had all the money in the day? Are you sure that your facilities and your energy and your habits and your routines now could sustain, that much abundance? Or would you just kind of just splurge it all out like on a bender or something? Like serious questions, On a not so serious note, navigating abundance is something as simple as like, I'm not going to say a formula, but it's order. It's order in some fashion. In order to, from my point of view, at least from my individual experience, I've learned that ordering these abundances and really just putting everything out in front of you is the best way to see what you have and deal with what you, have. Sweater I'm wearing, can you see? It's actually a crest for the volunteer fire department I used to work on. And before I worked on that fire department, well, actually, while I worked on that fire department, I was also a college student that was studying, the fire service realm. And one of the most helpful things I've learned in my time there was learning how to order chaotic situations, because chaotic situations are the job. But one thing it kind of programmed into me for the rest of my life, and what I see, is that I now just have this natural ability to order things and, deal with things in some comprehensible way, which doesn't necessarily overflood my mind too much, rather than if I didn't know the things that I know. Though knowing who I was before and knowing anyone and just trying to divulge, kind of like the sustenance of, I guess, the practice, let's say, of being a firefighter is more simple than it is not. And I will tell you, navigating a fire scene is as a high ranking officer, is as simple as following a checklist of things in which you ought to follow in order to produce the most stable environment, in order to come to the most best conclusion of what you're dealing with. Whether it's a fire or an accident or even just a spill, that would be a hazardous material stuff, These things all are dealt with in an orderly fashion, because there's things that you follow in which help you deal with literally just the pure chaos energy of what's going on. And that same chaotic energy that you receive, to me, in my experience, has almost felt like the same almost analogy that I kind of brought forth in the beginning with the overflow of water that we have, where I am. It can be destructive. An abundance can feel destructive when it comes in large quantities. The water, there's literally a road, not too far from where I am, where, you got the yellow line, so it's in the middle. The road's just gone because the water just ripped it apart. It's well, there goes the road. But as you see, just when people and individuals talk about abundance, it's sure, okay, you're going to receive all this abundance today. The Lord's going to send you this abundance, your spirit team, everything's going to send you abundance. But what's more important than the abundance and just getting, the nice, good energy is knowing what to do with it. And for that, I recommend, or what I would at least adhere by, is a checklist. Something simple that you can follow. I'm not going to spill out what you should put on your checklist, but you should lay out your energy in front of you. It's if you have an abundance, put it out in front of you. Know what you actually have. What energy do you feel? What is your abundance? Does your abundance stay with you? Where on the realm does it span to? Is it your mood? Is it your bank account? Is it your mood, bank account, and all of these things placed together? And it's okay, if it is good, good, write it out, plan it out, put everything out in front of you so you can see it. If you don't know you have abundance, well, I would be questioning whether you have it or not. But even if you feel an overwhelm, because you feel you're receiving too much from, let's say, higher sources, then just still the same thing. It's checklist, break it down, lay it in front of you. Try to put some order, to the madness in which you feel that is happening to you, but don't be so bewildered to think that it's not just abundance, not just the world trying to give you everything that you need to deal with what you have going on. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I feel like the essence of what I'm really trying to describe, or at least put into words, is that there's going to be more and perhaps more tumultuous times. And there's also going to be more, like, I guess, good times full of like growth and harvesting what you sow, so to speak. And you need to be able to have like a plan. You need to be able to have something that you can adhere to and follow to, not just for today and not just for the end of this week or end of this month, but for the months to come. And you don't have to plan so far as to be out as a year ahead of yourself, but you must be able to deal with the times and be able to deal with yourself and what you may receive. Because if you want to receive a lot, obviously you're going to have to plan for that. You're going to have to be able to have the ability to deal with that. Like, who knows? Maybe you win the lottery literally tomorrow. It's like, what are you going to do with the lottery? Like, plan it out. It's just like, you know. But jokes aside, jests aside, it's like the reality of the situation is we're in a transition from, at least where I'm at, Northern America, it's winter to spring. And in these times, it's, I think, essential for everyone to at least adhere by I would say the earth, the seasons, the climate, but for people to be ready for this change, this shift, and what things are going to be, higher temperature, heat, more things growing, nature's going to be blooming, leaves are actually going to be on trees, not on the ground, rotting, decomposed, from the winter thaw. Things are going to be in flux and moving. Lots of change is going to be happening. Probably wishes fulfilled, There's still going to be more birthdays, more weddings, more things happening. And the more you're able to put things in perspective and scopes and have some idea where these heightened energies, these new energies can go, the more you're able to actually generate and receive more, but also to deal with what you have without being overwhelmed. And I don't think I could say it better than that. Being proactively prepared for the world is not necessarily a bad thing. And it doesn't put you under the category of being a doomsdayist, who's just waiting, in a bunker. It's more like just taking care of yourself, or at least caring for yourself and others, perhaps. But it just means that you're just doing good, maybe too good. You're just too ahead, And there's nothing wrong with that. Not a single darn thing, as far as I'm concerned. You got to be willing to deal with things, but also, if you could deal with things, you can help others with things, and then you become a person who not only has their own stuff together, but then you can help. And I mean, that was my job. Hence, I'm no longer a firefighter, and I no longer work in that industry. But that's sort of like, I guess, the mindset or the capacity in which you try to stand in. And I'm not trying to push you, viewer, to stand in that realm, because obviously you got your own things going on. But I think what I'm trying to lean into more of is being a capable person, feeling as being a confident person, being able to step into your own power. It's a profound thing to do, a very profound act. And without dragging this video along for any longer, because it's already gone on for 14 minutes. We got 111 on the clock. If you know, you know. I think I'm just going to close this off, I thank you for listening. Hopefully this video helped you in some sort of way, gave you at least some ideas or some understanding. Till I see you again, please take care. I'll see you. Bye-bye. Have a good day.